This was when independent was really fucking independent, and you were really getting your money back pretty much from all of the sales of these. They would be selling these records out of the trunk of their cars. They would be putting them, physically into the stores and getting that money back. An insane amount of hustle that 3 6 Mafia had at the time.
Very concentrated too. If you think about these records and just like how they were distributed, it was mostly in Memphis.
Yeah.
And then surrounding southern states. So it's just really just a testament to real hustle, real grind. You had, other places having their movements. You had like Suave House having their movement, and Cash Money, of course, and No Limit.
Slip and Slide.
Yeah, Slip and Slide. But it's really interesting how Hypnotized Mind were the producers and the CEOs, and really pushing that movement forward. And
they would be making the beats for every single song on those projects. There would be no other producers. Paul and Juicy were getting all the money from that production budget, putting it right back out, getting that money back. These dudes were millionaires before the album that we're gonna talk about today. These motherfuckers were already millionaires. Like, that is the craziest thing to think about. Like, they were already living in mansions, driving Benzes, Mercedes, all that shit. They had it already. They were big already in the South. And 3 6 would actually form their own label, Hypnotized Minds, in the mid 90s. They were previously signed to Prophet. They fell out with Prophet. They dissed them a lot throughout the 90s, but they would release albums like dozens of albums a year. DJ Paul and Juice would have 3 different mixes a year, 3 different mixtapes a year. They would include solo projects from Project Pat, who went platinum on I believe, Land of Smackdown. DJ Paul, Juicy J, Gangsta Boo. One of my favorite albums from in the South is Inquiring Minds. Gangsta Boo, R.I.P. to her, man. We lost her literally on New Year's Day this year.
Oh, shit.
What a crazy loss for the community. I think a lot of rappers take from her in what she did. As far as just how she came into rap, how she presented herself, the things that she rapped about. One of my favorite rappers of all time is Gangsta Boo. Like, she was just a fucking beast.
Yeah, no, I mean, she's the prototype for a lot of female rappers today. And you're right, across the board, male and female, I think they kind of were influenced by her. But you look at the landscape of female rappers, from the Sexy Reds, the Glorillaz, and Gloss Up, like they kind of came at the game at her angle, where it's like a hard female, still sexy to a degree, but just rapping about shit that's a little more true to life and not so much just the female raps.
Yeah. She was rapping about murdering.
Yeah.
She said, what she said on Tongue Ring? Razor in her mouth, straight slicing your shit. I said, damn, nigga. What the fuck? Some notable releases from that time. Chapter 2, World Domination, went gold. Crazy in the Last Days, went gold. When the Smoke Clears, which featured Sipping on Some Scissor, went platinum. When the Smoke Clears is my favorite 3 6 Mafia album. That is the one that has all the hits.
Yeah.
It is to me an essential Southern album. In a way where you kind of understand where 3 6 is coming from. They fucking sample Creep Show, the horror movie, and that shit. The Crunchy Black has Where the Cheese At, his solo record.
Yep.
Yeah, I rob. Yeah, I steal. Yeah, I put your body in a field. I mean, hey, that is his LinkedIn. All of his jobs in one. I rob, I steal, I put your body in the field. But we get to a really turbulent time with 3 6 Mafia, where we get into the early 2000s, and there are a lot of issues that come up around kind of the group as they get bigger and as they get more notable in hip hop. In 2003, they released to that point their most successful mainstream album to date, with the Unbreakables, which featured, big name artists. Lil Flip was on there. Yep. Josie Scott from Saliva was on there again, bringing in that rock feel as well.
Saliva.
Hey, Saliva was big, bro. Crazy name.
But that's the funny thing about them being alternative and just like left to center. I think When the Smoke Clears had Insane Clown Posse on it too. So it's like they were always like fringe rappers to a certain degree, or they leaned into that fringe shit. And yeah, that was just one of them random features that just made sense. Like,
they was fucking with Juggalos, man. I
definitely were. They probably did one of them Juggalo Fest.
I think they probably did.
Yeah,
they more than likely did. And you look at the Unbreakables. You talk about alt. Lord Infamous, I even mentioned this at first. This remember he had the pin through his nose.
Yeah.
Like that was the wildest shit ever. When I first saw the Unbreakable show, I was like, what is these niggas? Hey, like what type of shit is they on, bro? Like they again, the crunchy black eyebrow piercing was iconic because it was like, nigga, you look like these roughest nigga on earth, but you still got your eyebrow pierced, bro.
Crazy.
Like that shit is crazy, bro. But the project for the Unbreakables kind of ditched a lot of that horrorcore sound, kind of fully coming into the crunk of what was popular at the time. Of course, at that point, Paul and Juice were fucking with Atlanta artists. They were working with Lil Jon at that point. They were talking and mingling with a lot with like Pastor Troy's and stuff like that. Like they were really in the South and they were getting that respect. They were 10 years in the game at this point. You know what I mean? So they were at that point elder statesmen in hip hop and in Southern hip hop at that point. As Southern hip hop starts to take off, you got them, you got UGK, you got 8Ball and MJG. It's almost like they're starting to get their second win at this point, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's funny to think that this is their second win, but yeah, they were definitely starting to figure it out. I liked a lot. One thing that was interesting to me was the rise of 3 6 Mafia and the rise of Houston rap.
Yes.
That was kind of like simultaneous, and they leaned into that a lot. You know, the album we're talking about today had Paul Wall on it twice. Mike Jones had a record on there. So they were definitely they were supplying the sound bed for a lot of Southern movements at the time. And it's just interesting to see that, like, it's not even interesting, it's just you could tell that the South already respected them. Yeah. So it was like, oh shit, we going to DJ Paul and Juicy J for beats. We already know what they're about. We already know what they've established.
Yeah. And I mean, even as we say they're getting a second win, the wheels are starting to come off of the fucking car for 3 6 Mafia at this point. However, in 2004, the makeup of the group had actually changed several times, whether through it was members leaving, LeChat left. They dissed her.
Yeah, they dissed her on that album.
They dissed her on Unbreakables.
Her and Gangsta Boo, I think.
Yeah, they dissed them both. They actually bleep out LeChat's name on the Unbreakables Posse song. 3 6 Mafia, every album has a Posse song where they have 20 niggas on the song that are signed to the label. On the Unbreakables, LeChat was on the Posse song. They bleep her name out and cut her verse and then diss her on the song. I think there's this part where he's naming the members, and then there's one member he kind of leaves out. It's LeChat's name because she leaves. Gangsta Boo leaves. And they both cite financial issues. They're not getting paid what they should be. Yeah. I think this was a big issue for 3 6 Mafia or DJ Paul and Juicy J in general.
I mean, you got to think about it. DJ Paul and Juicy J making the beats, being the label CEOs. I don't know if they was in the books. I know I'm not taking this. I just don't think that they were in the books as they should have been. I can't say taking sides. I think when you look at what all they were doing, they couldn't have been on top of the financial part of it. Like they just their whole album was about getting high. Yeah, that's true. And it's been like that.
What's funny is that Gangsta Boo would actually come out a couple years ago and say DJ Juicy J was a nerd. He ain't never do no drugs. And I was like, all right, man. 20 years later,
honestly. I probably believe it. He goes so hard with the branding of it all. It's like, damn, he probably wasn't doing no drugs.
So he wasn't sniffing coke?
The amount of drugs Juicy say he do, though, he would not be alive if he was doing all of
That's real.
drugs.
Exactly.
Trippy niggas. Like, what?
Yeah. He just leaned into it. He knew that was just good marketing.
It is good marketing to be the drug, because it gets druggies to listen to your music. So he's like, oh, yeah, he knows what I'm about. He knows everything that I'm doing. But that was the main thing with them in general. 3 6 was not like the Memphis at all. They're always dissing other rappers. I think around this time, which is crazy to think of how long they had been around at this time, a young rapper named Yo Gotti was coming up at that time. And he had issues because he literally went out and said, I'm never working with them.
I mean, it's crazy because now you look at like kind of what Memphis rap is now. It's a little more like hustle music. You got like Dolph and Gotti and Key Glock. Yeah. It's a little they definitely were like, we real street niggas. Like, I don't know what them niggas doing over there, but we really in the streets. And you could see the difference of it all and just the type of music they make.
The world was changing. And I think that as much respect as 3 6 probably still gets, and of course they're always going to get that respect, there were younger rappers that were coming up at the time that, whether it be Gangsta Boo and LeChat from their era or the new era, they were just not fucking with the things that they did. And, they were kind of outcasted. They were not, particularly super loved out there. They talk about it on the albums all the time, especially the Unbreakables. The Unbreakables, Test of My Gangsta is basically dissing all of Memphis. Like that's literally like everyone hates us.
You get it though. It's like, it's just like, man, like for all that fight music.
Yeah.
There's a whole nother side to that don't want to hear that shit.
Yeah.
And it was, I'm pretty sure they were feeling the heat of that as they were coming up.
You also have Project Pat, who went to prison several times during a point where they were at their most popular. Of course, the Unbreakables comes out, huge record, goes platinum. He's in jail. And he had already gone gold with a couple of his albums as well.
Yep, Mr. Don't Play.
Yep.
Getty Green that went gold.
Laying a Smackdown, of course, that actually came out I think after he got out, I think. But Lord Infamous also left the group for as yet unrevealed reasons. A lot of people think that he went to rehab and he had a lot of issues. And again, his life would be tragically cut short. I believe in like 2017. It's the way that they were living was hard living.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it definitely caught up to Lord Infamous in a lot of ways too.
Yeah, I just, all those drugs, all of the spoils of hip hop is hard for a lot of people who are, not used to it and coming up in a certain type of way.
Yeah.
And I just think that the rap lifestyle is a hard lifestyle. You're
Yeah.
performing every night in clubs so early in the morning. You waking up, recording, not really getting the right sleep, not really getting the right meals. That takes a toll on you, for real.
Yeah, especially when you've been doing it for so long.
Yeah. It
catches up to you. But as the wheels are turning and falling off, 3-6 re's up with new artists, Frasier Boy, who's from the Bay. They call it the Bay in Memphis. Lil White, which of course you had to get a white rapper. I believe they signed Boogie Mane around there.
Did y'all have a little white thing around your area in Palm Beach? I remember just coming out here, there was a huge Lil White, just like
niggas
I don't even think call it a movement, but
Trailer Park niggas love Lil White.
Yeah.
Like he was actually popping.
I mean, yeah, he was having the moment. I think he was probably one of the. I mean, besides Frasier Boy, they were both two of the more successful, like second generation of 3-6 Mafia.
That's crazy to think how long they had been around at that point.
Yeah, no, but they definitely. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I remember consistently seeing ads and ThrowBLKs and Source for these guys. I'm like, oh shit, people really tapping in.
Frasier Boy was kind of I think his voice was just so off-putting, bro. Frasier Boy, I'm the door. Like he was just like he just sounded like
Frasier Boy like that. Come on,
he sounded like a cartoon character, bro. But again, Frasier Boy would get his just due. Because as the end of 2004 kind of hit, 3-6 Mafia were asked to do what some thought was the impossible. And that was make a fucking song for a movie starring Terrence Howard. Of course, we're talking about Hustle and Flow, which would be like a convergence point for 3-6 Mafia. They were popular then. They were undeniable after 2005.